His name is Russ. He bought that mic, and now he's got a podcast show.
So my father was a very successful businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He had a cabinet shop.
Cabinet shop. Okay, cool.
Cabinet shop. I mean, that nothing sexy, fancy, whatever. But he would talk about a sphere of influence.
Yep.
And you think about the sphere, there are lots of points. I love a fractal, like a snowflake with all the
Yeah,
different points.
that's a better image. I like that.
Yeah, the snowflake. I hosted a mastermind a few years ago, and I typically wear a dress shirt or a linen shirt, but I wore a T-shirt that had a fractal on it.
Okay,
And a fractal is a pattern like a snowflake.
got it.
And
Okay.
then the point was the connections.
Yeah,
They're all these different, it's a scientific image, but if you do it in 3 dimensions, it's a sphere.
got it.
And there are
Okay.
all these different connections. So sphere agents, real estate agents, talks about sphere of influence. And I wonder how many of them really understand how 3 dimensional that is.
Yeah.
Um, and so what's today? We're on a Wednesday, doesn't matter. 2 days ago, somebody texted me and said, your name came up 3 days today, 3 times today. Your
Right.
name came up 3 times today.
Nice.
And I was like, well, that's interesting. What can I do for you? And he said, well, I don't sell houses. I buy houses and keep them. And I know him pretty well. And he does. He buys and just holds everything. And
Mm-hmm.
he'll create any situation just to hold it. He said, but I
Got it.
have one I want to sell. And 3 different people told me, if you want to sell it, Russ Scheider is your agent.
Awesome. Yeah. Well,
So, I mean, I was humbled by that, and humble. The definition of humility is I'm not better than anybody else, and I'm not worse than anybody else.
right.
I'm just in my right place, right?
Yeah, I've always heard the term definition. Humility is truth. If you
Yep.
understand your truth, you are
Right.
by definition humble. You're not making yourself out
Right.
to be more than you are, nor less than you are.
I like the term right size. Like
Yeah.
it makes me the right size. But
Yeah.
I was very flattered and yet very humble, and met with them and went through the whole thing, and we're working out a listing agreement for that. But that, to answer your question about repeat business, is
Yeah.
I asked him, well, who were the 3 people that mentioned my name? Because I
Yeah.
want to thank them, and I want to show gratitude to them, and I kind of want to know. I mean, and when
Yeah.
he did, it's like, oh yeah, I've sold 4 properties for him. I've sold 6 properties for her. I'm kind of surprised the other one just kind of knows me by reputation, or we've met briefly.
Yep.
But the point is that that repetition is all in building the sphere of influence and doing the right thing. And I know you do, and I appreciate you, Jim. I know you do. So we
It's
just
so
do the
much
right.
nicer when people mention your name, 3 people mention your name to the same guy, and you weren't at a Coldplay concert. I mean,
I love it.
no, I
I'm
totally agree with you.
so
It's
glad. I'm so glad it was a. Yeah, Russ came up. You see what Russ did?
tucking away. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
You're,
Perfect.
this is, no,
Yeah.
not me.
So
No,
repeat.
I totally agree. It's the very first loan I ever closed was for a friend of mine. And I remember, and I was, brand new to the industry. This is 2001. This is how far
Yeah.
back I go. And I met him at a cafe, and I took out my folder. I had the application on it, and I by hand just filled it out and asked him questions and filled part of it out wrong. He said, I said, what's your income? He said, well, I mean, do you want gross or net, before tax or after tax? And I said, well, all you have left is after tax. Let's go with that, which obviously is dead wrong. I didn't even know anything, but
Okay.
I figured out. I had a good mentor in the business. He said, no, you're dead wrong there, and helped me out. And that same person, I've now, over the years, I've done 5 home loans for him and his wife. And I've helped his kids, who were just little at the time, buy their first home. I've helped them refinance when rates fell to 3%. And That's just one person. That's my very first loan, and it was on. I remember the closing was on Halloween Day of 2001. So in October, end of October 2001, and all these years later, it's amounted just from he and his family to 8 or 9 loans over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you treat people correctly. I know you, Jim. I mean, I know you do. And that's all it takes is be professional, treat people fairly, give value. Napoleon Hill, everybody knows Think and Grow Rich. It's a
Hmm.
book, right?
Yep.
There's another book he wrote called The 22 Laws of Success,
22
which
Laws of
is
Success. I have
a
not read
much,
that.
it's a much bigger, thicker book. I'll share it on a podcast because it's amazing. But one of his principles is always give more service than people expect.
I love that. Yeah.
And I do my best to do that. I fall short sometimes, but I spank myself when I do, you know,
Yeah.
because I should be giving more service than people expect, not the same or less. And I know you do that as well.
I try, and that's the whole goal. Yeah, I'm amazed that you do that. I'm not surprised that you do that. I'm just amazed that you do that because you and I both know a whole bunch of realtors in town, and I'll tell you, the majority don't. They don't even think that way. And I love it. There's a book, I can't remember the name, I won't mention it, but about the Mr. Smooze. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It's not Napoleon Hill in depth, but it's a real short little book, and it's just a guy who goes through very successful in life, but he goes through and always gives a little bit extra. To your point,
Yeah,
and it pays dividends. It's first of all, it's a great way to live your life, I find. Right?
right,
If you're always thinking, how do I give more? How do I enrich this person's life more in
right.
the time that we're together? It actually makes life more fun and what we do for a living more fun.
Well, and I'll flip it real quick and say if somebody gets angry with me, I say, I know I gave you more than I had to. Or I'll look at myself and say, you know what? You're right to be angry with me, and I'm going to make it right.
Yeah.
You know, it squares that box. Like if somebody's like, I'm angry with you because of da 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 da, like
Yep.
you're ridiculous and I gave you more than I could have, or like, oh God, I'm not happy with myself
Yeah.
because I did not give you the service that you deserve plus some, which is what I'm
And the way
looking.
that sometimes I would imagine you do give the service, but not the way they want to. You know, the what's that book, the five love languages?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know, you're giving, but you're not
We're not going to
spending.
go there. We're not going to get into that.
Well, it applies to business as well, right?
Right. No, I agree. I
Yeah.
understand. Except for the physical part, the physical touch language, can't really apply that to business. Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little. I mean, so many people appreciate just a pat on the shoulder,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
others don't. But
I
so
would
many
give you a
people
hug.
just appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's developing repeat business in your mortgage business or my real estate business, I think is a matter of engaging with the right people in the right way.
How
And
do you follow up with people to make sure that they remember you? Frankly, I'm just being honest. How do you make sure that 5 years later, and now they're looking to sell this property, or now they want to buy an investment property, that they remember your name? Because most people, their studies show, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but studies show that most people say, "Yeah, I was really happy with my realtor," and then they say, "Well, what was your realtor's name?" And they're like, "It's not coming to me."
well, I'm going to give you a trophy for this first because you call me all the time out of the blue. And that's why we're doing this podcast is because Jim Duffy will call me and say, "How you doing? What do you think's up with the market?" Well, and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you do an exceptional job of that. I do it in a little different way through like REI Central and Clear
Yep.
Vision Coaching and the business. We're recording this at the helm where there are a whole bunch of other investors and agents and a plumbing company and a roofing company. We all share this office space.
Yep.
So I just make sure that I'm seen, and anybody who sees me knows they can approach me and ask me a question, and I will be honest and say I have no idea. But if you call this person,
So
that
you're a
person's
connector.
gonna.
Yeah.
So I'm a connect. Thank you. Yep, I'm a connector.
Yeah.
So I don't know everything and I don't know everybody, but I know more people than I know things. So
That's it.
I can always connect you with somebody that's going to get you on the path. And people know that about me.
And that's what people want. They don't want you to have all the answers. They just want to have a problem solved. Someone told me, so when I was in Europe, I studied over there and
Mhm.
I got two master's degrees, right? And as I was finishing a master's degree in philosophy, because that's why I'm in the mortgage business, um, the one of the professors said, you don't have to remember all this stuff, but you have to figure out how to get the answer very, very quickly.
Right.
And it's always stuck with me is we don't have to know everything. We just have to know how to get the answer quick.
So that's hilarious because Troy Gandy is my broker at Maven Realty, and he
Yep.
has a college degree in philosophy.
Oh, does he? The two
And
of us in Charleston.
I think
Right.
it's a valuable school and valuable skill in dealing with humans
Yep.
to have some understanding of philosophy.
I,
So I
I,
love.
I don't regret it at all. Everyone makes fun of it like, oh, that's not totally unemployable. Of course you're in the mortgage business now, but it,
So
it gives a
obviously you're going to end up
foundation
in the
to,
mortgage business, right?
right. Now, philosophy gives a foundation of how to think through to get to the
Right.
nucleus of a problem. And I like that.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're very good at that. And that's why I love talking to you is because I can say, well, why? And
Yeah.
you're not hurt by why. And there are a lot of
No,
people who are like, well, don't question, right? And you and I have that in common that you can ask me why, and I'll dig down and say, well, I think this is why. And you'll do the same thing, which is powerful. And there are a lot of people who are like, well, don't ask me why. Just do what I say. That's not
there's
going
so
to
many
happen,
people in my
dude.
business who hate dealing with engineers. They're like, oh, an engineer comes and they're going to nitpick every number, every paper, and I actually love it because engineers they just think that way. Why? Why this? Why that? What's this
Yeah.
mean? What? And I
Yeah.
like it. I enjoy that.
Yeah. So my father's an engineer. I was
Okay,
raised
there
by
you
an
go. You know,
engineer. I am the least mechanical person ever. My wife should have been an engineer. When the boat motor breaks, I put her under the hood. It's like there are just certain people who are really, really good at that.
yeah.
And I had a job in St. Louis for a while where there was a GE light bulb plant. I'm not making it up. They made light bulbs for GE at the plant right down the road. And we
Okay.
did renovations for people. So a big majority, and there was Boeing, Monsanto, and GE.
Hmm.
So like, three out of five of my clients had some sort of engineering background. And
Okay.
so what I learned to do is say, I'm very, very good at this one thing,
Yeah.
but I'm not as smart as you are. And I said, don't expect me to be as smart as you are. You're going to ask me questions I can't answer, but if you'll be patient with me, I'll find the answer, or I'll find somebody who has the answer.
That's it. Yeah.
Um, and learning to do that at a really young age because of my dad, he would ask questions like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Because he will tell you he's probably the smartest person you've ever met. And he
Right.
will tell you that. And
And
he's
you're
not
going to
wrong.
remember it. Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be as smart as you, but I can provide the service of like a DSCR loan. I'm
Yeah.
gonna bring that around, to what we do.
Yeah.
Then you can break down and explain a DSCR loan to me in a better way than I understand it, even though I've executed a few for my own. But it's not my career. It's not what I do.
Yeah,
It's what
no,
you do.
exactly. And you don't pretend. It's like whenever I work together with a realtor partner like yourself, I always say, look, I'm going to respect your lane because you're the expert. You respect my lane, and then together we can better serve. And the attorney's the same way, right? When they ask a
Right.
legal question, I'm like, I think I know this, but let me get you the real answer and get the attorney to give you a call and answer that question for you. Because I feel like it's a better service to the end client, the buyer or the seller. If if the whole team is working together, everyone knows their expertise, but no one's overstepping or stepping on each other and pretending, It's just serving better.
Yeah. I mean, on a daily basis, including today, I said to somebody, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA. I can only tell you what I do. And I
Yeah.
can tell you what my attorney and my CPA told me to do and how I execute that in
Yep.
my business. And then if you want to argue with that in any fashion, I'm going to put my hands up and say, call this. I can give you a
You,
number
you,
for a CPA or
you're
an attorney.
probably right. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I
you're
can't make
probably
an
right for
argument.
you. Then that's fine.
Right.
You're probably connect. That's where the connector comes in as well, I would imagine, because you're like, this is what my attorney asked me to do. This is how I do it. If you have a problem, talk to this same attorney and go figure it out for yourself.
Russ might say a thing